Let's go. Time to grind, get inside your mind. Yeah, we working overtime. That's the only way to climb. We gon' make it in our prime. Signing on the dotted line, cashing checks left and right. That's the way I'm living life. I feel alive when I got a goal in sight. Chip away, I gotta fight. Ain't nobody else in sight. Man, I think I see the light. Yeah, that shit is so bright. Follow me, I got the guide. See you on the other side, son. Ain't nobody know what I've been through.
What is going on, everyone? And in this video, I'll be giving you my UFC 295 main card predictions for the upcoming event taking place November 11th, 2023. Procházka versus Pereira. In the main event, co-main event, Sergei Pavlovich taking on Tom Aspinall. I think it's going to be a pretty solid card. Very unfortunate that we're not getting Jones versus Miocic, obviously, but you can't win them all. And there was something in my head that was just thinking we're not going to get that fight. And, you know, it's tragic, right? At least he didn't do something stupid and something illegal, I guess, if that's... But we may never get that fight. I'm not sure how it's going to play out. But either way, got to go ahead and talk about the first fight on the main card. In the first fight on the main card, we have Diego Lopes, 22-6, taking on Pat Sabatini, 18-4 in a featherweight bout. So when you look at someone like Diego Lopes, he's an aggressive fighter, a little bit sloppy at times, right? Very tough outing in his first fight against a very tough opponent in Movsar Evloev. He lost that fight via unanimous decision, got taken out 4 times. He fights Gavin Tucker next. He gets taken down, but then he also pulls off the defensive triangle armbar submission victory. And so he's one of these guys where if you take him down, he's not going to just lie there, not know what to do. You know, this isn't going to be like a Derek Lewis moment. He's going to go for those submissions. He's going to go for like elbows. He's going to try to attack, right? He's not going to just accept the position. And then on the feet, I would say he's definitely going to be a lot more aggressive on the feet than Sabatini. I think Sabatini is not going to want to just wildly start exchanging with him. We saw against Damon Jackson, he got clipped, then he got mounted, then he got finished via ground and pound. Sabatini's going to want to get this fight to the ground, limit the amount of time that Lopes is able to do anything on the feet. And then even on the floor, Sabatini probably try to constantly take him down, tire him out, maybe look for a finish. But Sabatini is one of these guys who is low volume on the feet landed, so he really doesn't want to keep the fight there. His striking's okay. Both of these guys' striking is okay. Nothing really stands out. It's not like either of these guys are just putting together beautiful combinations. But Lopes is, I think, more dangerous on the feet just because he's willing to put himself in these positions where it can just get crazy. And obviously, we've seen Sabatini get dropped. And I didn't expect him to get hurt by Damon Jackson. I really didn't expect him to lose that fight. So someone like Lopes, who's going to, if he gets taken down, he's going to be aggressive about it. He's going to try to get back. He's going to try to go for a submission. And then on the feet, Lopes is going to come after him and try to swing with him, take him out. It's one of those fights where I like that Lopes is always going to be in it. Regardless, right? Even if he gets taken down 4 times, he could pull off a submission at any moment. For Sabatini, I think it's going to be hard to finish Lopes. And then for Sabatini, if he relies a little bit too much on getting those takedowns, he could be submitted. And I feel like that might happen. I feel like early on, Sabatini, he might exchange with him a little bit, but then Sabatini is going to resort to getting that takedown. And then Lopes is going to maybe he pulls a guillotine, does something to reverse the position, end up with a submission, and then next thing you know, he's winning the fight. He wins the fight. So sketchy fight because on paper, I feel like the easy pick is Sabatini by grind, take him down, control him against the fence. Lopes swings wildly, doesn't really do much, and then Sabatini wins the decision. But then when the fight starts and you see how aggressive Lopes is, how he's trying to pull off submissions, I feel like that's the pick that I got to make. So for me, I'm going to go Diego Lopes to defeat Pat Sabatini. I'll take him to win by round 1 submission. In the second fight on the main card, we have Matt Frevola, 11-3-1, taking on Benoit Saint-Denis, 12-1. In a lightweight bout. So this, I think, is going to be the fight of the night. It's going to be an absolute banger until someone gets absolutely crushed or just a back and forth tough decision. I think someone's getting taken out here. I just don't see how it's possible that nothing either of these guys come away from this fight without getting destroyed, right? So you look at someone like Matt Frevola, right? He comes into this fight, he's coming off 3 wins, last win against Drew Dober. He gets right in there, trades back and forth, wide stance, really puts all the power into his punches, swinging, right? He just wants to get in there. He relies on his chin, and he got in there against Drew Dober and clipped him. Good high kicks too. Kicks kind of come out of nowhere. Good speed, good chin. Like I said, he's not getting finished like every fight. He did lose his fight against Terrence McKinney, but I think when you have that fight style where you go in there and you just, you get right in front of your opponent, don't care, exchange until someone goes down. I mean, what do you expect, right? So that's just kind of to be expected. And at the end of the day, when he fought Drew Dober, he could have gotten clipped and taken out. So when you fight like that, he kind of just takes you out of your game, right? If you had like, oh, I'm going to be technical, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. He doesn't have a problem fighting off the cage, right? So he'll back up. I think it's kind of like bait, get you in there, and then when you get in close, he has no problem just exchanging. But it has gotten him 3 wins in his past 3 fights, but it could also end badly for him, like we saw against Terrence McKinney. Against Arman Tsarukyan, he got taken down 10 times in that fight, so he lost via unanimous decision. He can probably be taken down by a better wrestler, so we have to see with Benoit Saint-Denis whether or not he's going to be able to take him down consistently, or if he tries to just kind of exchange with him. I think for an exciting fight, yeah, both guys just go out there and whoever gets knocked out first. But for Benoit Saint-Denis, I think if he goes out there, he's probably a little bit more technical than Frevola. I think he's going to mix in a lot more of the attack, leg kicks, go to the body. I don't think he's going to just run in there and just start trading. I'm sure Frevola can knock him out, and at the same time, I think Saint-Denis can take out Frevola. But the biggest thing is when things get crazy, is Saint-Denis going to dive in for those takedowns? And if he gets a takedown, what is he going to do when he gets him on the floor, right? Drop it in the elbow, looking for the submission. I don't really see Frevola getting a takedown here and then pulling off a decision, right? I don't think he's going to resort to taking Saint-Denis down consistently. I think probably Saint-Denis will be the one to get those takedowns, control against the fence. Maybe they move back and forth. But overall, I think Saint-Denis is probably a little bit better when it comes to mixing his attack up. I don't think he's going to just fall into the bait that Frevola is going to put there. I don't think Saint-Denis is going to just wildly exchange with him. Although, who knows, right? I mean, these are those fights where if either guy fights a little bit smarter, they would have won. And then we just get a wild exchange and Frevola knocks him out. But I do think for Saint-Denis, if he wants to progress forward, this is a good win to have. And then he can kind of get into that next tier of guys in this division, in the lightweight division. And I think he can do that. I think he's obviously dangerous. He can obviously submit people. He's got power. He can really mix it up. I mean, we saw that against Thiago Moises. He was able to get 5 takedowns in that one. And he defended 2 takedowns from Moises. And then also he started lighting him up on the feet. Now, obviously, I think for Thiago Moises, he's not necessarily a striker. He's not going to try to rely on that like Frevola. But still, Saint-Denis, I think that was pretty impressive. Whereas when you have someone like Matt Frevola in his last fight, he just got into those wild exchanges with Drew Dober. And Drew Dober just got caught, right? I mean, that's pretty much it. Zaitar, he took him out. I mean, that was a good win for him. Yeah. So I think if it's a short fight, it's a short fight. Who knows who's getting knocked out? I think if it goes long, though, I think Saint-Denis will be able to put together more combinations, maybe a little bit more volume, start damaging the body, damaging the legs, and just mixing it up better. Whereas Frevola is going to be looking to just KO him, lure him in, KO him, right? I don't think Frevola, he's looking for the big head kick. He's not mixing in body kicks, leg kicks, trying to out-volume Saint-Denis. So for me, I got to go with Benoit Saint-Denis. I just think well-rounded. Yeah, he can exchange. He has a good chin too, so hopefully it holds up. But But if he can get this fight into the third round and he's still going, staying on top of him, not engaging in a wild brawl, picking him apart, I feel like maybe mixing in some takedowns. Maybe in that third round, he could look for a finish if Frevola's a little bit tired. So I'm going to go Benoit Saint-Denis to defeat Matt Frevola. I'll take him to win by round 3, KO TKO. In the third fight on the main card, we have Jéssica Andrade, 24-12, taking on Mackenzie Dern, 13-3, in a women's strawweight bout. So Jéssica Andrade, I think it's safe to say that she could possibly be on the decline as far as when she's fighting that top level competition. She's just no longer to hang with them. And I think a lot of it has to do with the grappling and just the way that she comes at her attack. Like, she is more patient, but still when she throws those strikes in close, it just seems like that lack of defense. And against a better striker, they're going to find the advantage. And against better grapplers, they're going to take her down, right? So you look at her last fight against Tatiana Suarez, taken out 3 times, submitted. Yan Shonan, she gets KO TKO round number 1. Against Erin Blanchfield, she gets submitted. So she's fighting someone in Mackenzie Dern who is constantly improving. Not the best fighter, I don't think. I think if Mackenzie Dern fights a really good striker, she's not going to win. If she fights Erin Blanchfield could be a better grappler. Like, who knows? But for people that have that weakness, like Mackenzie Dern is going to try to lock onto a submission here early on and really just try to get Andrade out of there. Like, I don't think she's going to be striking with her wildly. Like, I think she's going to run over there, get a hold of her, go for the armbar, go for something, and just try to get her out of there, mount her. And I think once Mackenzie Dern's able to do that, I don't think this is going to be like an Angela Hill situation. I do think Mackenzie Dern will be able to submit Jéssica Andrade. And on the feet, that's the other thing. I think you look at Mackenzie Dern, you're like, oh, I got to defend the submission. I can't let her get a hold of me. I got to defend it. I got to stay off the fence, right? Light her up, do something, stay away from her. And then next thing you know, Dern's clipping you with a big right hand. And I don't think she has like the biggest power ever. She's not putting together the cleanest combinations, but she's obviously doing something right to where she's able to hurt these people. So again, Dern could probably also take advantage of Andrade just getting a little bit too crazy, throwing those wild hook shots, and then boom, knocks her down. Dern just jumps on her, armbar, it's all over. So I think Andrade, I mean, she has to fight smart on the feet and defend the takedown. Like, Andrade is going to have to attack the legs, take everything out of Dern, beat her up, and just be the smartest fighter. Don't let her get a hold of you. But that's a lot to ask for in a fight like this. And it just, yeah, if she does that, of course, she's going to win via striking or something. But I just think, it'll just be a matter of time before Dern is able to get a hold of her. And like I said, then it's all over. So I'm going to go with Mackenzie Dern to defeat Jéssica Andrade. I'm going to take her to win by round 1, submission. In the co-main event of the evening, we have Sergei Pavlovich, 18-1, taking on Tom Aspinall, 13-3, for the interim heavyweight title. And 2 really good guys in the division, killers, right? I think this is a really good fight. Ironically, we end up getting this fight, which could be a fight that we all kind of wanted to see regardless. I think they were both going to fight each other anyways, but we actually get to see whoever wins this is obviously going to be the number 1 contender, and they will fight John Jones, or I have no idea. But for Pavlovich, he's coming to this fight just taking guys out left and right. But his first fight in the UFC, he took on Alistair Overeem, and he gets taken down and he gets finished, KO TKO. But then after that, he kind of fights. I don't want to take anything away from the guys that he's fought inside the UFC, right? But when you look at them, it's like, okay, they're not. Like, I could see Tom Aspinall running through them as well, right? So his fight against Marcelo Golm, the very next fight, KO TKO, round number 1. And that's the other thing. All these fights, round number 1. He takes him out. Maurice Green takes him out. Shamil Abdurakhimov takes him out. He takes out Derek Lewis, which, when you've seen what Derek Lewis is, I mean, it's 50-50 with him, right? He either lands the big shot or he gets destroyed. Tai Tuivasa, he kind of just goes out on a shield at this point. He gets into a wild exchange. If he lands, it's all good. If not, he's in a world of problems. he takes on Curtis Blades, who was trying to strike with Pavlovich, which just didn't make any sense. And yeah, he did go for that takedown attempt and he didn't get it. But like, I don't know. I just felt like he wasn't, I don't know if he was trying to prove a point there or something like that, but it just, to me, didn't make sense because he needed to get in there, take him down, or at least control him against the fence, see what he could do. But instead, Blades was just kind of content with trading with him, and that obviously didn't do much for him. But in my opinion, I think Aspinall, for example, when he fought Blades, unfortunately, he had the injury, but a part of me was thinking, like, if they were to fight again, Tom Aspinall would have eventually caught him as well. Now, both guys are very fast. I think Pavlovich relies on his just absolute aggression, though. He's good speed. The combinations, though, I feel like are just, he's so powerful with his punches that he kind of just relies on overwhelming you and just throwing everything at you. Now, we haven't seen him get out of that first round. Now, that's not to say that this dude can go 5 rounds and he's perfectly fine. Like, we've seen that before. I don't think he could keep that pace, though, the aggressive pace. I mean, he was getting jabbed by Curtis Blades in that fight. He was getting a little bit jabbed in there. So, Tom Aspinall, a very fast fighter as well, but I think a little bit more technical, right? A little bit more. I don't see Tom Aspinall running across the ring, you know, going right at Pavlovich and just pop, like wildly exchanging. Now, if he does that, it's all over. Like, Pavlovich is gonna win, like, first round, he kills him. Just because I think like that's the worst game plan that you want to have. I think for Tom Aspinall, utilize the speed, jab him up, right? Jab him up, frustrate him, go to the legs. Definitely try to get in there with the clinch. Do something like a body lock takedown. Test what he's got on the floor. And I think if he can do that, it'll be interesting. And I think obviously if they get out of that first round, that's where it will be interesting as well, because Sergei Pavlovich has just been able to bait these dudes in. I mean, when he fought Tai Tuivasa, that was perfect for Pavlovich, right? I'm going to trade back and forth with this guy and I'm just going to kill him. Like, Pavlovich is not a guy. Like, I would even argue over like Derek Lewis, right? It's like you have a better shot of just wildly exchanging with Derek Lewis than you do with a guy like Pavlovich. Just not what you want to do. And like I said, Pavlovich, you know, working on his takedown defense. We've heard him working on his takedown defense. He definitely has a reach advantage in this fight. So yeah, I mean, he's gonna probably try to cut off the octagon, get in Aspinall's face, test his chin. Has no problem testing his own chin. But we have seen, and I know his takedown defense has obviously gotten better since he got taken down by Alistair Overeem. But he really hasn't had to use it in a fight. So, yeah, he might be able to defend a takedown or two. But if Aspinall keeps going, sets it up better, right? And Aspinall is showing good speed as well, he could throw him off a little bit. And I think that's the interesting part here. Now, hopefully no one gets injured. You know, I would like to see this fight be played out, even if Aspinall gets annihilated in 20 seconds. Like, I would just like to have some closure with this division a little bit. You know, if Pavlovich goes out there and just kills him, you know, I think that's a very interesting thing. You have John Jones fighting a guy who's just annihilating people. And then for Aspinall, if he wins, and he wins maybe via submission, I think that's even a little bit more interesting, just because Aspinall has a little bit more well-rounded game. He can knock you out, he can take you down, submit you, right? A little bit more technical. But yeah, I think this is a good fight. A little bit sketchy who I'm going to pick, just because it's the heavyweights at the end of the day. So even if you are technical, like Ciryl Gane, you can still lose a lot of these fights, and it doesn't really mean anything. When you have this monster guy across this other ring just coming at you and just trying to take your head off. But yeah, Pavlovich, if he defends like a lot of these takedowns, or it just doesn't even get into those situations, like, he's going to be nasty to deal with. But I think Aspinall, like I said, he's also very fast. I think he's going to utilize more technical striking, utilize a really good jab in there, try to get him thinking about, oh, am I going to take you down? pop, 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 go to the legs. And then I do think the first round, hopefully they get out of that first round for Aspinall's sake. And then in that one, I think we might see him try to really get those takedowns and see what he can do with them. So I'm going to go Tom Aspinall to defeat Sergei Pavlovich. I'll take him to win by round 2 submission. In the main event of the evening, we have Jiří Procházka, 29-3-1, taking on Alex Pereira, 8-2 in a light heavyweight title bout. So this is an interesting fight because you have two killers. You have Procházka, who he's like a zombie, right? He's just one of these guys who you're like, oh man, he's rocked, man. He's getting taken. And then boom, he finds a way to win, right? We saw this last fight against Glover Teixeira. He comes back and it's like, how is this happening? There's moments where it's like, oh, he's going to lose. Oh, you know, he comes back, pulls off a submission against Glover of all people. Against Dominic Reyes, spinning back elbow. You know, he stays in these fights. He definitely can be hit. Even against Volkan Ozdemir in his first fight inside the UFC, KO TKO, but he definitely did get hit a couple times in there. And that's my concern with this fight is you can call it luck, you can call it a chin, you can call it whatever, but there's got to be a certain point in time where you eat a clean shot from Alex Pereira and it's all over. Like, it doesn't really matter. Now, the thing, though, that could happen is Procházka, if he does eat a shot and maybe gets wobbled, if Pereira runs in, oh, it gets too crazy, here we go, and then he starts swinging at him, Procházka just hits him with the spinning elbow, takes him out, it's all over, right? So Pereira has to be careful of that. I would like to see Pereira, yeah, he has that ability to hurt him, but even if he hurts him, like, don't get crazy with it, right? Definitely chop away at the legs. I wouldn't be surprised to see Procházka go in for a takedown. I do think that could happen if things get crazy on the feet. I think we could see Procházka definitely try to take Pereira down, and then who knows at that point what might happen, just because I think Procházka could probably submit him if your fourth round, third round, they're tired, whatever, and Procházka just shoots in there and tries to take him down. But then who knows? Maybe in the off chance, in the weird chance, we see Alex Pereira going for a takedown. Like, I have no idea. But on the feet, I think the power advantage, the brute strength has to go to Alex Pereira right here, right? For Procházka, he's just one of those guys who's like, I'm going to absorb a lot of this damage. And I'm going to keep coming after you. And then eventually, I'm going to find an opportunity when you kind of just give up, because it's just, how is this guy still here? And that's when he's going to attack, right? And that's when he knocks people out and all this stuff. Like, he's definitely one of these fighters that seems like they're about to die and then they come back. And it's just somehow like, how is he eating these shots? And where did he get that attack from? Makes it ugly, right? He just makes it brutal. And then he finds that way to win. So very interesting fight. A little bit scared with who I'm going, because I think that replay of Adesanya knocking Pereira out, reading what kind of happened in their last fight, and then finding that opportunity where Pereira was definitely had his guard down, literally, and just didn't see it coming, right? And it is, oh, we got a little bit excited, and boom, that's when he gets knocked out. So spitting back fist from Procházka, or an elbow attack out of nowhere when both guys are tired, it definitely could be all over. But I think in the first to second round, I feel like this fight is going to end. I just think the way that Pereira hits people, and with how Procházka can definitely be hit, I just don't see this like ending in the fourth or fifth round. Like, I just don't see it, because even if Pereira hurts him, like I said, and oh, he's wobbled, oh, here we go, the fight's gonna end somehow, whether it's Procházka turning it around on him and killing him, or Pereira actually getting the finish and just taking him out. Like, Alex Pereira hits him with a big shot and just KOs him flat. Like, that could happen. Like, it definitely could happen. And the same thing with Procházka. Like if Alex Pereira gets too excited, next thing you know, Procházka's like hitting him with a flying knee out of nowhere. Like, who knows? He guillotines him or something like that. So yeah, very interesting fight. Looking forward to it. Makes me nervous, but looking forward to it. So I'm gonna go Alex Pereira to defeat Jiří Procházka. I'm gonna take him to win by round 2 KO TKO. So that'll do it for my UFC 295 main card predictions for this Saturday. Looking forward to it. Unfortunate, like I said, we don't get John Jones versus Stipe Miocic, but I still think these are going to be some good fights. So leave your comments down below. Who do you think is going to win in the main event? Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.